read through the book of Deuteronomy, and as I finished up the book of Deuteronomy, I was struck again by a verse towards the end of the book that I think captures something that we all struggle with as human beings. It's Deuteronomy 29:29 that says, "The secret things belong to the Lord our God. But those things which are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law." In other words, God makes it clear there are secret things that belong to Him and things that are revealed to us. And if you want to be joyful and peaceful and thrive in the Christian life, you're going to have to work hard at making a distinction, keeping these two categories in place. Don't blur the lines and think, I ought to know everything. I should know everything. I should know everything. There are things that belong to God and things that belong to us, because He is God and we are not. And Moses knew this as well as we do today, how much we struggle with this. So I think it's worth noting that in his final sermon before he dies, yes, he summarizes the law and he reviews the history of who God is and what He's done for them, but he chooses to clarify again this basic principle that you have to keep in place if you're going to be joyful and peaceful as a follower of a living God. There are things that belong to God and things that are revealed to us. And so what's the problem? What's the problem that this verse is actually exposing and trying to clarify? Well, by nature, we want to know it all so that we can try to control it all, or at least that part of the world that touches us and our loved ones. I need to know everything so that I can try to control everything. But God never promised that He would reveal to you all that He knows or give you control of His world. There's no promise like that in the Scriptures. Those are rights that belong to God and God alone. And so you might be wondering then, and that brings us to a question. Well, Brad, what should we do when we bump up against the secret things of God, where we don't get all the information that we wish we had? What's the point? Why are these places even in the Bible? And there's a number of them, by the way. If you read the Bible, all of it. Why are they there? Is it just to frustrate us? No. God is a good, good Father. Listen to me. The Bible is filled with places that inform us and increase our knowledge of all we need to know about God and what He's doing in His world around us. But that's not the only thing it's filled with. The Bible's also filled intentionally with places that were designed not to inform you, they were designed to humble you and remind you that He is God and we are not. And that's where my dead friend and Jewish theologian Abraham Heschel comes in. You've probably been wondering the whole time I've been talking, why is he there? Who's the old scruffy guy behind you, Brad? And if you've been paying attention on these Wednesday words, you'll notice he's my first dead friend that doesn't have a cigar in his mouth. But let me tell you what he does have and why he hangs on my wall. Abraham Heschel is one of those writers who, when I read him, and I do, he stirs me to ponder and appreciate more of the depths of the holiness and awe of God. Holiness and awe of God, which I hope you realize is not distinct from wisdom, but actually leads to real wisdom. You realize that information alone will never, ever lead you to wisdom. I hope you want to be a wise person, a wise woman, a wise man. Information alone will never get you there. You realize that? You can have all the information in the world and still not be wise. Real wisdom is the result of some other things: humility, worship, and awe. And so that's why I love Abraham Heschel. When he says things like this, listen to what he says. There is thus only one way to wisdom: awe. Forget your sense of awe. Let your conceit diminish your ability to revere, and the universe becomes a marketplace for you. The loss of awe is the great block to insight. A return to awe is the first prerequisite for a revival of wisdom. Wisdom comes from awe rather than shrewdness. The greatest insights happen to us in moments of awe. Oh, don't just read your Bible for information. I love learning. I hope you're learning. But don't just read your Bible for information. Read your Bible, all of it, so that you'll run into mysteries and the secret things of God. You'll bump right up against them. And it's not a place to be frustrated. It's a place to bow the knee and worship. There are times I'm scribbling things down that I'm learning, and there are times that I just put up my hands and I worship. I have worship moments as I read my Bible because I'm brought face to face into the presence of a holy, mighty, awesome God. Everything was not designed to simply inform you or satisfy your curiosity. Parts of the Bible were designed to humble us and remind us that He is God and we are not. And as we are humble and we know how to worship and keep God revered and we have awe for God, guess what you start to get? Wisdom. Wisdom comes as you fear God and worship God and humble yourself in the presence of God. Yes, keep reading, looking for information, but also read your Bible, looking for places to stop and worship.